Card game anime, a subgenre of what I like to call toy commercial shonens. What is a toy commercial shonen, you may be asking? Well, it's an anime that, simply put, exists to sell you toys. That's right, rather it's giant robots, spinning tops, more robots. There is no end to the amount of anime made to get you to buy pieces of plastic for you to fill the void in your empty life. God, I'm so lonely! But these anime have their spot, not just as one of the most cynical and obnoxious forms of capitalism we encounter in our day-to-day lives, but we all kind of have the ones we love. Rather you love Gundam, rather you love Beyblade, rather you got a love for Metabots, all of my fellow boomers out there. These anime have a spot in our lives. And in case you couldn't tell, card game anime have a very special spot in mine. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason I've always been attracted to this concept. Besides the fact that, A, I play a lot of card games, but also what I like about card game anime is that because they simply can't use flashy Sakuga animation, because they don't have a ton of, little things they can focus on, they can't just be like, boom, here's a Beyblade. No. You have to show off different cards, you have to show off different strategies, you have to show off different fights and all that stuff, and you also have to figure out a way to make it interesting. I feel like card game anime can bring us some of the more interesting stories of this genre. So when a new card game anime comes out, needless to say, I'm interested. Even if it's a card game I have no interest in playing, or even have access to in some cases, I get curious, and I want to know what's going to happen. I want to know, how does it do something new? I want to know, how does it strike its own chord, and how does it choose to be unique? Because, let me tell you all something, we've had a lot of card game anime over the years, and needless to say, most of them end up failing. And while there are a plethora of reasons why they don't make it, I personally believe, ultimately, the big problem is that they don't feel unique. They don't create their own stories, they don't break the mold enough to last and to make it, and to get out of, say, Yu-Gi-Oh's shadow. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is obviously the biggest card game anime there is, mostly because it's the main card game anime franchise, and each new Yu-Gi-Oh! Series has sat to create its own story and its own characters and its own aspects and all new reasons why you should follow it. Lately, though, and I say lately, it's been like a decade at this point, Cardfight Vanguard has been able to make a success of this. Vanguard succeeds by doing something very different, which it's supposed to. Vanguard comes off more as a character drama. It's less about big epic fantasy action, and it's more about just what the people do, how are their emotions, what are they like as people, how do they interact. Mind you, this is when Cardfight Vanguard is good. Above all else. But these are the two big ones. Rounding off third as far as ones that seem to make it is Future Card Buddy Fight, which is a anime I can only describe as visual vomit. Yeah, I don't like this one. I don't like looking at it. I don't like watching it. So when this anime season brought to us Shadowverse, an adaptation of the epic mobile game that pits discount Magic the Gathering cards against each other, I got curious. I wanted to see what it would do. I wanted to see if they would do something interesting with the concept of being based on a app game. Also, I've doomed myself to a life of talking about card game anime, so yep, here we are. So, how is Shadowverse? If you couldn't fucking tell by the title, which I'm very proud of, by the way, this is bad. This is really fucking bad. This might actually be the worst card game anime out there. But wait! Many of you are thinking, isn't it too early to tell? How could you possibly compare it to that with all the other card game anime that have not made it? How could you not say it is worse than Buddy Fight? Well, sit back, my humble viewers, and we will talk about this. Because what else do I have to do with my life? So Shadowverse. From the offset, you can kind of tell what the problem is. I used the term discount Magic the Gathering for the artwork before, and while that is meant to be a bit of a knock, I think you can do stuff with sort of the fantasy-looking aspect of this game. So what does the anime look like? Everything else. Yeah, this is every generic character look ever. This is exactly what you expect it to be. These characters could easily fit in anything else, rather it be Beyblade or Beat 'em On or any other toy commercial franchise. There is nothing unique about these guys that fits the world or look of Shadowverse. Now, do you have to? Not really. Yeah, like the point of the show is it seems to be set in a somewhat more realistic world, so therefore having characters who don't look fantasy epic is fine. But at least come up with some unique visual design. Yu-Gi-Oh! Designs take influence from different gothic aspects. They take sort of this idea of like intelligence mixed with power, mixed with not always having to look like big muscle men. Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens changes this, but still gives you designs that give off the characters' personalities very well. Vanguard being set in a more realistic world has much more subtler characters designs, with everyone having simply one or two fun traits to make them more visually interesting. Buddy Fight, though I don't like it, has this very in-your-face, bam, random, anything can happen at any time art style that, while is not necessarily visually appealing, at least to me, it at the very least is different from what the other ones are doing. But with Shadowverse, these characters just look exactly like what they are. Here's the hot-headed protagonist with the cool red hair. Here is the best friend who is a lot of times tan for some reason. I don't know what that's about. Here's the creepy but cool-looking rival. Here's the cute girl who is going to probably be in love with the protagonist but will never say anything because we don't want to alienate the 12-year-old boy demographic, which we are trying to appeal to. And yes, these archetypes just go on and on. As for the characters, nice little segue there, yeah, they just stick to these archetypes. And there doesn't have to be anything wrong with that. There doesn't have to be anything wrong with sticking to characters in a standard role. You've got a lot to do in a card game anime. I can understand keeping the characters simple. But again, the contemporaries of this genre choose to do interesting, unique things with these characters. Best friends like Joey Wheeler or the best friend from Buddy Fight, who I'm pretty certain people like, have unique roles and backstories of their own. As of right now, the best friend in this is just the best friend. Girl characters like Masaki, Akiza are fascinating characters to follow. And yeah, they will ultimately get shafted because you need to appeal to boys, but it's better than this. Rival characters like Kaiba, Kai, Ryoga, all these different characters are often looked at as the fan favorites of their shows. And that's because they're given roles and interesting ideas. And as far as the protagonists go, Hero is the fucking worst. Oh yeah, this kid's name is Hero. They clearly didn't think this through very far. All he is someone going, I want to be good at Shadowverse. Can I have a smartphone so I can be good at Shadowverse? I love Shadowverse. That's it. There is nothing else to him besides the fact that he likes Shadowverse. Now, some of you will say, oh, well, he's the protagonist. He is the most important instrument for selling you shit. Well, the protagonists in all other card game anime usually have something else to him. Now, I'm not saying everyone has to have Yusaku or Chrono levels of complexity to their backstories, but characters like Aichi Sendo are simple. He is a bullied youth who just wants to be able to make friends and live up to a stronger version of himself he's been struggling to see. All that was conveyed to me in Vanguard's pilot. In 5 minutes, I knew everything I needed to know about Aichi. Yuga is a smart aleck who's super intelligent and just wants to live life his own way and show everyone that better way to live it. That was also shown to me in 2 minutes. That all could be conveyed, and those characters were told to me quickly and got me on board with their arcs. We're like 6 or 7 episodes in, and other than he likes Shadowverse, there is nothing to Hero at all. The only real character traits he seems to have is that he's driven, because that's enough apparently, and also his parents are missing, which, don't worry, they ruined that within the first 5 minutes. Which also brings us into the show's plot. As of right now, it is literally just we're a bunch of characters who want to be good at Shadowverse. That's all it is. We have spent 6 or 7 episodes introducing characters because for some strange reason, this anime decides to have 7 or 8 main characters. And they all kind of just suck. So yeah, this is just what we are stuck with. And it's bad. And it sucks because it's just kind of by the numbers. Everything about it is generic. There's no interest in being unique. And I know Shadowverse has a very strong following, otherwise they wouldn't have bothered making this anime in the first place. I imagine if you're a Shadowverse fan, you probably have an idea of what a show like this could be in your heads, and I gotta assume it's more than this. Like, there is nothing to this anime at all. No effort put into it at all. I don't feel any passion watching it. All I feel is just a cynical cash grab. And I think it genuinely is the worst. And, like, yeah, you could maybe make an argument. Other ones like Duel Masters that were also pretty generic when they came out were pretty bad as well. But do we really want to see Shadowverse go the way of the Duel Masters? Do we want more card game anime to fail to just be looked at as jokes? Yu-Gi-Oh! And Vanguard are up in here trying to be their own unique thing. Buddy Fight's on hiatus at the moment, but that's got other reasons behind it. And that is the question I want to leave you all off with today. Because I guarantee you someone in the comment section will be like, oh, why you gotta take this shit so seriously? I'm taking it seriously because I want these to be good. And I think they should be good. And I think these animes is how the general public finds out about card games, and I want them to show off why card games are fun. If this thing exists to sell me Shadowverse, give me a reason to care about Shadowverse. And simply saying, I love Shadowverse, is not gonna do it. So yeah, give me your thoughts about Shadowverse below. Are you watching it? If you're watching it and you enjoy it, that's fine. Tell me below. I'm genuinely curious to see what's likable about the show. I'll keep up with it, and if in like a dozen episodes or time it improves, I'll have no problem talking about how it fixed itself. That might be the best comeback story ever. So yeah, tell me about all that below, and as always, click to like, click to subscribe, and hopefully join me for some better card game anime.